Today we're looking at how you get around Accoil, so it's really easy to navigate. We've got a new UI that I'm pretty excited to launch. Hi, I'm Peter. I'm one of the co-founders here at Accoil. We're going to start by looking at the dashboard and going to our top left and looking at our workspaces. Workspaces are where you can start to segment your customers at a pretty high level. I'll show you how to set one of those up in just a moment. We're going to go back to the dashboard and click into settings. To get you started, the first thing that you're going to configure is your workspace settings. And the way that you do that is you choose the features that are most important to you, to this particular set of customers. You're going to weight those features so that you can get an engagement score, which I'll show you on the account and user profiles in just a moment. And this is where you can also start to segment your customers, based on what we saw here earlier. Are they paid? Are they trial accounts? Is it everybody? Are they light accounts that maybe rolled off a free trial and into a free plan of yours? Something like that. Continuing in the settings, this is where you set up your account and user level activation. Use things like features, frequency, etc. You have a lot of options here, a lot of conditions that you can use to create your activation criteria at both account and user levels. Here in permissions, you can decide which of your teammates are going to have access to Accoil, and are they editors or viewers? It's up to you to decide that as an admin. Moving on to product settings, this is a really cool screen, I think, because it gets to show you what you get to see is what's happening inside of Accoil. How many events are you tracking? How many features are you tracking? Workspaces have been built, et cetera, et cetera. So this is a great way to see just what's happening inside of Accoil. So you can see really like how much are you using this? Where are you getting value from Accoil itself? I love this dashboard because you get numbers like 206,000 metrics calculated. I think that's pretty cool. Anyway, moving on. Workspaces in product settings, another view where you can see all your workspaces listed in one place. You can also come in here, set them as default. What are you going to log in and see initially? The settings for each of the workspaces, you can clone them, or if you're done with them, you can delete them as you like. Moving on to connections, this is also pretty exciting. Where's your data coming from and where's it going to? Accoil has taken the point of view that this data is really important, but we don't necessarily want you to have a tab open. So once you've configured Accoil, where do you want this to go? Into Slack, into your CRM, you choose. Automation, another really fun tab here. If you want to set up alerts based on even individual users or customers, you can do that by setting up a new automation. You can choose which workspace you want it to be triggered from, and then all the criteria for triggering that. And then down the bottom here, where do you want to send it? Is it a Slack alert to an account manager to tell them that an account they have is starting to disengage and that they need to get them on the phone? You can set that up, or you could even trigger workflows in tools like HubSpot and Intercom. And coming soon, a CRM like Accoil. Now, if we roll down the screen here to features, this is where you get to roll up your events, all the little bits and pieces that sort of sit behind your UI that make up your features that your customers engage with. This is where you get to categorize those in a way that makes sense for you. You know your product well. We can help you set this up if you do need that help. Last thing I'll mention here in the product settings is just importing data. If you are starting from scratch with Accoil, this is a great way to do that. If you have historical data, or if you've started with Accoil and you want to sort of pad that data with older historical data, you can come in here and import that as well. Now we're going to go back to the dashboard real quick here, and just a few things I want to point out to you that make my day a bit easier as a user of Accoil. Is one of the things I look at is the total score, but really this number is not so important to me. I'm looking at this trend line here. Is it going in the right direction? And if yes, it makes me feel good, and I can kind of move on from that. Over on the right-hand side, I love the feed. This is like automation, but bundled together. So which groups of customers do you want to be paying attention to? We've got it set up here in the demo to show account score changes. Who's having big movements in their engagement scores? Which users are having big movements in their engagement scores? Who's changing from free to paid, that sort of thing. These license type changes, you get to define what the segments look like that you're tracking in the feed. And it can also be sent off to Slack, for example, if you don't want to have to come in here all the time and see account by account who's doing what. You get to group them by segment to really understand at a higher level what's moving, who's moving where, and where you need to spend your time and energy. Scrolling down the dashboard, you've got feature adoption metrics, and then you get another table here that gets into the detail of those feature adoption metrics. And you've got your total active accounts, total active users broken down over the period there, which is great. On the left-hand side, again, in the menu, you've got your segments. These are custom-made segments. We also have a long list of pre-baked, built-in, out-of-the-box user segments that you can use, like new users, ice cold, red hot, who's doing well, who's not. Account segments set up similarly. And you can also come here and create your own segment based on user level data or account level data. What do you want to call that? And then you can start picking your criteria for, what do I want to watch? Which attributes of my customers and accounts do I want to pay attention to? And what means healthy and what does not? You can set up segments to watch the book of business that you have if you're managing a big group of customers. And with that, I'm going to say thanks for watching. If you want to go into detail in any more of these aspects or features of Accoil, please hit us up, accoil.com. Otherwise, we do have videos rolling out on each of these individual features, so stay tuned.